Hey guys, this is Bryan at Peace Camera. Today we're going to talk about some first impressions of my new Canon EOS R. I know at this point the camera's been out for quite a while, but when it was initially released, I think it got a lot of negative hype. Um, People were really talking down on some of the things that Canon didn't do, that some of the other competing mirrorless cameras were doing. But I think they really missed the mark in not focusing on what this camera does really well. Um, so I waited a while to get it, and coming from a 5D Mark III, I decided the R might be a good upgrade. We're talking 5.5 years in technology difference. We've got more resolution and what I hoped was better autofocus. Um, we haven't gotten to use it too much yet, but we did get to take some test shots in the store, and hopefully we'll be able to share some of those with you. Um, First thing I want to talk about is the control and the feel of the camera. The grip is really thick and deep. It seems to fit your hand really well. Some of the smaller cameras, I know people feel awkward in their hands and end up adding grips and extensions. This seems to fit really nice. The the dial placement seems to work really well for my fingers. Everything is quick to access. Um, this is my first touchscreen camera. The 5D3 was not a touchscreen, and I really wasn't excited about it. Most of the time I've tried a touchscreen, it seems to lag and end up being more frustrating than it needs to be. This touchscreen is responsive. When I use it to zoom, when I use it to scroll around an image, looking in zoom, it does really well. It's almost more like an iPhone than a camera. So the touchscreen has been really nice. The control bar. Canon added a small control bar to the back of the camera that's totally customizable. You can choose all sorts of different things to control with that little slider. It's touch activated. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I've set it to control ISO, and it seems to do that. My only issue is having a little trouble sometimes waking the button up. It does go to sleep so that I don't hit it on accident. We'll keep using the camera and see how we like the control bar down the road. The viewfinder in this camera is downright impressive. Um, I've used some of the older Sony Nex cameras, older versions of Sony's mirrorless, and after a couple hours, the viewfinder seemed to almost flutter, and eventually my eyes would get really strained and tired. I felt like I was looking through a computer monitor. This viewfinder is so bright and so clear that it's taken almost no time to get used to it. I'm really impressed with the job Canon's done on the viewfinder. Um, the autofocus. The biggest reason I upgraded from the 5D Mark III is that I was looking to improve my autofocus. Everybody's been raving so much about how good mirrorless cameras autofocus. I was hoping Canon hit the mark. This one shipped with the newest firmware update. It's got version 1.2 on it that adds eye detect and tracking during focus. We got to try that here in the store, and it did a really good job of locking onto the eye and always the eye closest to the camera. So I feel like in a portrait situation, that eye detect will do a really good job. The image quality. This is a 30 megapixel camera, so it's definitely a step up in the 22 from the 5D Mark III. Being a newer generation of the sensor, I was hoping we'd get some image quality improvements, especially with this 24-105L. This new RF version lens is supposed to be really sharp. We got to fire some test shots of E over in Bag World, and the images came out really good. I think the color straight out of camera is impressive. The lens is definitely sharp, and I think JPEG straight out of the camera are really good quality. I know we've got some samples for you to take a look at. Today we're going to check out the new Canon EOS R. I got this camera a few days ago and really haven't gotten to take any shots with it. So we decided we needed some updates for our bag world area. So we're going to take some shots of E with some bags over here today. We're running a Quantum T5D, a little bit older Quantum Q flash, with one of these Savage Mod Master soft boxes that we just got in. This is a 35-inch pop-up softbox that was really easy to put together. Hopefully we'll get some good shots with it. On the EOS R, we're going to shoot at a 60th of a second. Our aperture is at 5.6, and we're going to shoot at ISO 200. These new mirrorless cameras do really well at higher ISOs, so 200 we should be pretty good.
In his office, he's got a gun rack, he's got all kinds of anti-wire stuff, he's got his pistol here, he's got. I was in the store years when I was real.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Or, like, get a bag or two. Which bag? No. Like a nice bag.
That is a nice one.
Who does this?
Oh.
That is the company.
About to fall off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Those are nice, aren't they? Yeah. This stuff looks like it wouldn't tear at all. No, the big reflector stripes, just like.
So Canon's released a few RF series lenses, but I know personally my budget has made those not affordable. Canon has an RF adapter ring that will adapt your EOS lenses, any of your EF mount lenses, to the new R. They have a $100 version, or they've got a $200 version that has the actual control ring that you can customize to control a setting on your camera. So both of those are pretty good options for people already shooting Canon SLRs looking to go into a Canon mirrorless system. One of the neatest things about this camera, we do a lot of sensor cleanings here at the store and see a lot of dirty mirrorless sensors. Nothing is more frustrating than trying to edit an image when you've got dust all over your sensor. The Canon R has got a shutter-like cover that covers the sensor anytime you turn the camera off. What that means is if you're changing lenses, as long as the camera's off, you're keeping dust off the sensor. Really cool feature for people who change lenses a lot outside. We're going to keep testing the camera. Hopefully I'll get a chance to shoot it in some action situations, see how well the tracking focus does, and maybe shoot some landscapes where we can test the sharpness on this 24-105. Stay tuned and we'll keep you updated of how this camera performs. Thanks.